How's it going, guys? Here's your Monday Arm Wrestling Reddit podcast for 2/10/2020. Oh man, it's been a whole week. Can't believe it's been a week. You know what? I was supposed to have a guest, and I completely spaced on that, guys. I'm going to have a guest. We'll try to set it up for next week. I'm going to lock a guest down. I already have someone in mind. I don't want to say it until it's confirmed, but I think I got somebody. Before I forget, as always, shout out to NatFit, Jamie Sheldon's supplement company. Shout out to Smoking Six's meal prep. You guys use my discount code DREC10. Save yourself some money on some meal prep that I've been taking every day. Been eating that stuff. It's amazing. Also, Country Crush, DREC10, 10% off. and Lion Straps, guys. Get your straps at Lion Straps on Facebook. Hit them up. All right. So let's see. Since last time I talked to you guys, Monday. First, quick catch up with me. What I do? This week I trained heavy. I actually used my pulley system at my house, which I don't use very often. For some of you guys know, I have a single column adjustable pulley system in my bedroom with a half table, and I haven't given it much work, honestly. For me personally. I when I go to a gym, I tend to put in more serious work when I'm in a gym. I don't know what it is. I think maybe it's like a social thing. I don't know. I get there, I put my headphones in, and I put in a lot more work at a gym than I'm able to at home, unless I'm in a pinch, kind of. So my pulley has gone relatively unused compared to how much I thought I was going to use it for sure. But yeah, like in a pinch, or if I don't have a lot of time, then I'll use the pulley system. But I don't know. I'm gonna get more into it, I think. So use that this week, and I'm kind of, I don't know. I have, like you guys know, I'm getting ready for Arnold's March 6th. So this week I was kind of taking a little time off, not going too crazy, and then the next couple weeks I plan on hitting a lot more table time, working on endurance. I think next week I'll go kind of heavy, pretty heavy, I think, and then dial it in to Arnold and to the Todd Hutchings practice, which is in 2 weeks. Anybody that's listening that is anywhere near Southern California, the practice on the 23rd is going to be gigantic. You guys come out here, San Bernardino. That's where the practice will be at. Hit me up if you guys need directions or an address. Then this past weekend, there was the Supercross on Saturday. Went down there, worked that with Travis, flipping plates and picking up sledgehammers and stuff like that. Dallas Langston was there. It's great seeing you, Dallas. If you listen to this, Greg Sharp as well. And Paolo from Brazil was there. I don't know Paolo's last name. And Scott Wynn and everybody. It was great seeing you guys. We had a nice night out. And then on Sunday, there was a tournament at Grinder Gym down in San Diego. It was the Alan Fisher Classic. Alan Fisher Invitational. It was the Alan Fisher tournament. And they ended up doing an open weight class, single elimination, but every match is best 2 out of 3. And basically, so the 2 heaviest guys are at the top of the class, and all the lightest, it just goes in descending order according to weight. So the heaviest guys arm wrestle each other, and then the lightest guys arm wrestle each other, and they kind of meet in the middle eventually, working up and down the bracket. So kind of think like an NCAA bracket, right? Like the tournament for the basketball tournament. And then just the heaviest guys it's all seeded by weight, right? And so you don't arm wrestle the heavy guys until way later. And it was all kind of super matches, so the heavier guys were getting pretty tired out. Tony Tomlinson ended up winning it, and Alan Fisher ended up getting second, actually beating guys that are a lot bigger than him. But, Alan's actually on another level right now. He is the strongest Alan I've seen. Damn, I don't know, maybe ever since I've been arm wrestling in 10 years, I think. I don't know. But Alan's insane right now, so good luck to anybody arm wrestling Alan Fisher. This dude is a beast right now. That's crazy, dude. He's like 95 years old. Just kidding now. If you're listening, I love you. I don't know how old Alan is, but he's definitely getting up there. All right, guys. So that's it. That's it. Now let's go to the Reddit thing. I know there's a lot of Reddit posts. There's been a lot of activity in the arm wrestling world. So we're going to try to speed through this. Excuse me if I'm going a little too fast for you guys. I just want to see if I can finish out this whole thing and catch up on all the Reddit posts so we don't leave anything behind. Okay, so since the last thing I posted, all right, starting with posted by Marcus Nen, Polar from Malaysia as the title. It says, I'm new to this group, love arm wrestling. Well, welcome to the arm wrestling group, man. I hope you enjoy your stay. Hopefully we can help you out with whatever you need. Next, posted by Criminal Scum. It says a little diversity for the subreddit, and he posted, I think it's the Kazakh from Kazakhstan. This is the training. Sorry, this one is the training video. So it's Krasimir and Angerbayev and friends. Arm wrestling. It's Krasimir and dude. It's crazy kind of watching these guys that are even faster than Krasimir. Krasimir is not a slow puller. Now he doesn't base his whole style off speed, but he's not a slow guy, right? And watching some of these Kazakh arm wrestlers just fire off on him so fast that he can't even keep up sometimes is super impressive. Check that video if you guys get a chance. Kazakhstan arm wrestling is just like awesome. I don't know. I'm such a big fan of the pullers that come out of Kazakhstan, which is kind of weird. Not weird, but it's I don't know. Kazakhstan's known for being so fast, and then you see Dmitry Trubin, who's not slow, but he's definitely doesn't base it off speed, which is weird. And he's like top dog, I think, in Kazakhstan still, right? Well, him and Angerbayev. Anyway, all right. So moving forward, I'm not gonna lie. Even John. So these are posted by Thom John 12 or Uncle John for you guys that don't know. Check out Uncle John's arm wrestling show and his YouTube channel for sure. Really well-spoken guy. Definitely knows a lot about arm wrestling. I've been getting more and more into it, but I'm not going to lie, these two videos, everything you need to know about Bottom 8 and Bottom 8 Part 2, I did not watch. Not that I'm not interested. When it comes to the Bottom 8 stuff, most of it, I was going straight to Devin for and just listening there because I know a lot of people are doing a lot of content on the Bottom 8 thing. And I don't know. I've been getting a lot of behind-the-scenes info, I guess, from people about who's in the Bottom 8 and stuff like that. And so, I don't know. I haven't been watching too much social media on it. So I didn't watch these, John. I'm sorry. They're probably awesome. No doubt. You guys check out his YouTube channel for sure. I just didn't get a chance to check these two videos out. So we're going to move forward. Posted by NNQ2603, RVJ and Dave Morocco discuss his upcoming match with Wayne Withers. So this is a video of RVJ and Dave Morocco sitting on a couch talking about Dave Morocco's upcoming super match. And Wayne Withers is the guy that beat Matt Mask. Tall, strong guy. If you guys he has a YouTube channel as well. He's getting started. Check that out. But it was... Dave Morocco has what he calls an open top roll, what a lot of other people would consider like a king's move type of thing. It's, his arm pretty open and focusing on pronation and in the straps. So they had a WAL rule-based super match. 6 rounds, all in the straps though, and on a WAL table, so it has the extra 2 inches to the back of the pad. But Wayne, in this video, they're just talking about their matchup and stuff like that. And I don't know Dave Morocco. I've never pulled Dave Morocco. I have pulled with Wayne, but it was a few years ago. And Wayne was a monster back then, so I'm assuming he's even stronger now. And so I knew it was all going to come down to Dave Morocco's, pronation in the straps versus Wayne's posting and cupping. And so Wayne's posting and cupping ended up winning out in their super match. But there was a lot of hype coming up on this, and so it was cool to see everybody's thoughts on how this is going to pan out. RVJ is always funny to listen to talk. Moving forward, posted by Rodental. It's a video of Bowen versus Berzink. I think this is the very first table time that Ryan Bowen and John Berzink were getting, and Ryan posted the video of them pulling. John looks, crazy impressive. He looks like, since I've seen him last, you can see all the weight he's lost. Biceps are popping out, looking good. John apparently, he's feeling pretty well. I think he's admitting that his shoulder is still not top form, but he arm wrestles in a style to really defend it, so he doesn't have to rely on his shoulder too much. So hopefully he's able to keep that up and not have to test that shoulder too much. Although it is arm wrestling, and arm wrestling is a lot of shoulder. There's no way around using it completely. But he's all about taking everything away from you before he uses his shoulder, which is the smart play, I think. Because John's every other tool is still so sharp. He's so strong. People keep reminding me how strong John is when they keep bringing up my super match with him recently, and how I lost. All right, so that's all I got for that one. Moving forward. Posted by Combined Training. He says, first friendly super match coming up soon. How can I prepare? In particular, looking for advice on setup or for match format. Super basic overview of match strategy and how to analyze an opponent. Reminders on what to change/not change if and when we go to the straps. Anything else you would want to know? Okay, well, let's take those one at a time, I guess. He says, in particular, looking for advice on setup for a match format. Well, you didn't tell us the match format, so I don't know how many rounds you're doing, what kind of rule set you guys are doing. I don't know any of that stuff. So, oh, you're looking, sorry. I thought you were looking for advice depending on the match format. Oh, you're looking for advice on setting up the match format. Oh, sorry, I feel dumb. All right, so if you want to set up a friendly super match, I'm assuming, I don't know if you're an arm wrestler or if you're new. If you are new, then injuries can happen, especially when people get tired, right? So whenever I think about new guys, I always think about injuries and staying safe first, of course. So when people get tired and gassed, they start doing dumb things to try to find horsepower, right? So they'll start leaning with their shoulder and stuff. So I would advise keeping this short super match. So I would say best 2 out of 3. If you're dead set on having it as a super match, then I would say best 2 out of 3. You can, and then as far as the rule set, you guys can kind of go wherever you want with that. That's all personal preference, really. If you want to do like a WAL setup or WAF setup or, whatever other setups there are. I would just keep it simple. I would probably just do a WAF basic setup, no running fouls, just regular fouls, 2 fouls and you lose, all that type of stuff. That would be the best thing I could think of as far as match format. And then a minute rest in between and switch sides of the table each time. But that's how we run most super matches at my practice, just basic, get them over with real quick. Then it says, super basic overview of match strategy and how to analyze an opponent. Dude, that's a deep question. How to analyze an opponent. There's a lot of tell signs of how to, break someone down in your head and see like what their what makes them tick and how they arm wrestle and what their strategies are. So match strategy, man. You want, depending on your position, a lot of people like to bleed other people out in super matches, right? So round 1, if you get a dominant position that you're not having to exert too much energy to hold, then a lot of people like to hold the first round until your opponent gets tired out, kind of, until you feel him getting gassed, and then make him pin himself, is what they call it. But basically, wait until they're completely gassed, and then let the match end. So a lot of people like to do that round 1. That's becoming the more popular style. So there's that. If you're trying to be, smart about it and seal the deal. If you're, if endurance and stuff is not your forte, then I feel that see, there's so many things I don't know. I don't know if you top roll, if you hook, where you're at, I know that getting pulled through in a hook destroys people, and so I'm not a big fan personally. I don't like banging in a hook with somebody that I'm like having a super match with or really still trying to feel out. I stay up top and test the wrist a little bit first and then go in if I feel like the water's fine. Because all I know is that when you go into a hook and you're battling, especially if you're a really heavy pronation style hook puller and you get ripped through in a hook like that, I feel like it really gasses my arm. And I've been hooking primarily for a couple years, but still, when you get ripped through in a hook and then you go up there and you have to hook the guy again, or even if you decide to top roll after that, my arm is usually so gassed that getting pulled through in a hook tears it up. Now, if you start pulling outside or a kind of hand-based style of arm wrestling, then and even if it doesn't pan out, it's more adjustments in the hand, which I don't think you're screwed. You can kind of make adjustments and change it up. So I think a safer bet is to do like a high hook and outside move to test the waters first round. Hopefully you control his hand, able to bleed him out while he's trying to get a hold of you, and then go in after that. Right? I think that's the smarter way to pull a super match. Because I just don't think if you're not winning the hand fight, that doesn't kill you, right? That as far as it doesn't kill your arm for the rest of the match. But I will say that if your hand gets cracked open, your hand's getting cracked open for the rest of the match. That's generally a rule of thumb with arm wrestling, as far as I know, for the most part. is that if you try to contain somebody and they roll your hand out, then you lose your wrist. Then in that angle, or most angles similar to that angle, your hand is going to get rolled out for the rest of the match. So avoid that at all costs. Even if that means letting your hand go when you know it's about to go. So that way, I don't know. So that way you still have some left and you might be able to contain the next round or something like that. But yeah, if your hand goes, it's going to keep going. Everybody knows that, right? Especially if the matches are fast-paced. Next one is reminders on what to change/not change if and when we go to the straps. So you want straps towards you, my friend. You want straps, say the strap that goes on your hand. I call that the hand control strap. You want that down, down towards your wrist, as far down as you can get it. Then the strap on your wrist, I call the horsepower strap. That strap goes down, as far down towards your elbows as the ref will allow it, right? So that way, the lower it grabs on your tree branch, right, the more control it has and the more pressure you can apply into it, the bottom strap, right? So you just generally want straps towards you. The further down both straps will allow you to move your hand more, and the bottom strap will allow you to access more horsepower through the bottom of your arm, right? So always straps towards you, and then depending on your style, things start getting kind of specialized as far as strap techniques. But yeah, generally just keep straps towards you, man. That's the best advice I can give you right now. And pull on the straps. Don't worry about pulling on your opponent. You pull the strap will pull your opponent, right? So pull on straps. And the last one, anything else I'd want to know? Well, I don't really want to know anything. So hopefully that's enough, man. Post a video of this super match and we can see how it goes. And best of luck to you, man. Stay safe. You guys keep your elbows in there. Don't break your arm. That sucks. Don't do that. All right. Moving forward. Okay, it's a video posted by Tuba Joe. It says, one of two to ever do this, I guess. So Storm Cellino carrying the Thomas Inch dumbbells, it looks like, and walking with them. Right? Storm Cellino, I think I've touched on this before, has the strongest hand and wrist I felt for anybody at that weight in the country. It's crazy to me. My whole career for a long time was based off just having a really strong hand. I've recently kind of tried to go away from that a little bit, but so I still kind of pride myself on having a fairly strong hand. And when I pull Storm, it's like crazy. That dude's hand is wild. And I've pulled some definitely strong-handed dudes, and that guy's super impressive. And every match he has shows you don't usually see Storm's hand get dominated, not too often, right? I've seen people get through his arm and stuff, but his hand is usually pretty dominant in most of his matches. So yeah, this is crazy. Him holding these Thomas Inch dumbbells and walking with them, just a testament to Storm's freakish athleticism. Okay, next one. Posted by Bram87. It says, training to balance strength in arms. I'm new to this, 3 to 4 months, and I was wondering about specific training or techniques to balance the strength of my arms. I'm left-handed and do decently well on the left hand, but I get crushed on right. Obviously, it's directly correlated to being my dominant hand. This sucks because everyone is right-handed and wants to pull right-handed. I train both arms, but my right arm just can't handle as much weight. Any tips? Also, cheers to Blue Bowen on his win. So tips on how to balance your strength in your arms. I mean, as in anything, you say you're in the sport 3 to 4 months, man. I think comfort on the table is going to be the first thing you're going to want to look at. I think that newer pullers get really focused on increasing their horsepower too soon. I think there's a lot of other games and places to look to find how to be more effective on an arm wrestling table besides just stacking on horsepower. So, like, if you've been arm wrestling for 3 to 4 months, odds are there's still a lot of angles and things that you're learning on the table, right? So, trying to find ways to blast through people to get stronger only is a weird place to look, right? I'd look more at, how to be more efficient with your offhand. Most people, I'll tell you, in my experience, and a lot of veteran pullers I know will agree with me on this, is that with most people, your dominant hand, so I'm right-handed, and so basically, when you use your dominant hand on anything, say you grab a door handle with your dominant hand, then you're going to generally try to muscle it. And because you're confident in the connection points and the coordination on your dominant hand, you tend to try to overpower things, right? You grab things and you move them around because you're confident with the strength in your dominant hand. Most people on their non-dominant hand tend to seek out points of leverage. So a lot of times people will arm wrestle better with their non-dominant hand, like smarter, use leverage, better technique, I guess you could call it, because they know it's weaker. So, and even by default, they'll grab things differently and everything with their non-dominant hand because they know they have to seek out points of leverage because they don't trust the strength and the connections with it, right? So it's kind of interesting to watch that. Like I'm a huge example of this. I'm right-handed. Everything in the gym, right-handed is stronger by far, but I arm wrestled better left-handed for years. I went to Worlds and got 9th place left-handed, and right-handed I haven't got a win at Worlds at all. I'm 0-4, and I'm right-handed. It sucks, but most people are right-handed, you know. But it was just I always sought out better angles left-handed. I'd attack people's fingers and wrists and just a little more efficient, I think. So I would definitely look at how you're arm wrestling first before looking for more horsepower. But I mean, besides that, man, yeah, that's going to be the best tip I'm going to give you is just focus on your table time, focus on your form and stuff like that, and how you're approaching the people that you're pulling with. But stay well balanced. Keep training both arms. Don't just start only favoring your left hand and not your right hand. Because, like you said, you're going to be pulling right-handed a lot as long as you're in the sport. But they should balance themselves out. But just stay focused on the form for sure. All right, moving forward. Posted by Tuba Joe. It says, thoughts on this arm wrestling based workout. Then it's a picture of a program, kind of. It says huge lifty program. On Monday, he's doing static biceps and dynamic pronation. Tuesday, static cupping and grip. Wednesday, resting. Thursday, dynamic bicep and static pronation again. Friday, dynamic cupping and grip. Saturday, table time rest. Sunday, table time or rest. I commented on this already. I didn't see like rising in here, and I didn't see like supination. There's some things I didn't see as far as within the forearm. I know he had replied to my comment on that, but I mean, I think depending on your career and where you're at in your career, I think staying well balanced, well rounded, especially at first on your programming, making sure you're hitting all the ins and outs and not forgetting anything is important. But sorry, I was reading my comment on what I said to him, that he didn't say anything about chest, shoulder, back, supination, brachialis, rising. And he said, I lump brachialis training in with the bicep and usually hit rising during it. I do most of my back pressure with high strap and hand and hit it all, and bicep fails before hand and wrist for me. I don't think it's enough, but I also tend to do lat drags single arm with when my bicep gets cooked, so I can keep doing other work. Is that enough for back? Definitely need to rethink some of this. I don't know, man. I'm big on and through my research so far is that the arm wrestling based workouts, the ones I like and the ones I've seen the most benefit from, are ones that are really similar to a bodybuilder workout as far as isolating certain muscle groups. It's just the rep ranges and the amount of weight and the rest period and all that type of stuff. That's what we change. But I target specific muscles, right? So it's like bicep, it's long head and short head bicep, like pure bicep day. And I'll do 5 to 6 lifts on that one bicep. Or on biceps, and then I'll do one lift from elbow to tip of finger, so like pronation or cupping or whatever you want to call it. So one workout for me will be a bicep cupping. Next one will be shoulders and pronation. Next one will be back and rising. So it's like that's how I've been breaking up my workouts. That's what I was helped with a lot with Ingen Terzi and stuff like that. And it's been awesome. I've seen huge gains since I've switched to this. So I would say don't get too obsessed and not give yourself time to rest. When I'm looking at this, I know you have a rest day in there, but if you're killing it out, because we're trying to get stronger, right? We're lifting for strength the majority of the time, so it should be heavy weight, lots of rest, low reps, and I've been giving it a week. Any muscle I hit I give it a week before I hit it again right now, and it's been amazing. Everything's been feeling fantastic. So it's just all week we tear down the muscles and we kill them in the gym. We build them up, and then you spend a week recovering, and then when you finally get on the table, then it's sinking all the muscles you've been building and putting them all together and making sure they coordinate and work well together on the table. That's what practice is for. I also think practice is for putting work in on your joints, but that's my own opinion. So yeah, just focus on rest in this, man, and don't neglect giving real intentional love to a lot of the other muscle groups. Don't just throw one rising lift in there one day, something like that. That's a very important thing. It all starts from the tip of your fingers. The most important thing starts at the tip of your fingers all the way down to your toes. As far as in descending levels of importance. So keep that in mind, man. Strong hand can do a ton. All right, moving forward. Posted by HD Bildo. Who wins this heavyweight battle? St. Louis, Missouri, 6/13/2020. Harold Owens versus, oh my gosh, Pavlo Derbendiyev. Best of 5 right-handed. Honestly, I think Pavlo, if that's the guy I think it is, I met him at the Arnold's last year, and I've known Harold Owens for a while. I don't know if Harold's training currently or what his current outlook on the sport is, because I know he's been kind of off and on. A legend for sure in the past, no denying that. But I think Pavlo is super up and coming, if that's the guy I'm thinking of, and he's a monster. And if Harold's not training, then I'd have to go with Pavlo on that. So it's kind of dependent on what Harold shows up, in my opinion. So right now I'm going to lean with Pavlo, though. All right, moving forward, posted by Paul Lynn, Devin Laird about arm wrestling Shaq. Devin talking about basically how, Shaq was the strongest non-arm wrestler he has arm wrestled. Guys, there's people out there. There are people out there. Now, that just have it for arm wrestling. Now, I know there's freaks walking around like your Larry Wheels and stuff like that. And they're strong. But there's guys that just work construction down the street who are just monsters. They exist. It is real. And so, Shaq obviously had some strong pressures he could apply and stuff like that. And obviously he has the leverage and some angles. So he might just have a natural, genetic advantage for arm wrestling. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, there's no real telling someone's potential. There's no telling how much power someone's going to be able to apply on the table until you get a hold of them, really. I mean, you can have a general idea depending on weight and size, a general idea. But I've also had some 175 guys come in to my practice first time and be monsters. Not, going to be beating any super heavyweight pros anytime soon, but immediately at a very high level, right? So, yeah, you guys, you got to feel them out. Don't ever judge a book by its cover too much, Yeah. Moving forward, posted by Criminal Scum. It says, for the Kazakh fans. It's a video of, I think it's Kazakhstan Nationals. And, dude, it's crazy. You guys watch this video if you get a chance. Watching all these pullers from Kazakhstan, it's so explosive and fast. And they take the sport so serious. They're in this giant room. And they got posters all over the walls of arm wrestling. People are going crazy for all the matches. Cameras everywhere. Arm wrestling is such a big deal over there. And it's so awesome seeing these guys and all the support they get during the matches and how intense it is. And it's such high level arm wrestling. And so, yeah, if you guys get a chance, check that out. Kazakhstan arm wrestling, big fan. I think also they have a few YouTube channels. Not a lot of English going on there. So if that bothers you, then that might not be your thing. But, arm wrestling is universal. Watching those matches and watching the technique, that's universal, man. So you don't need to speak, what language? Is it Kazakhstanian? I don't know. I don't know what they speak in Kazakhstan. You don't need to speak their language to watch these videos, is my point. All right, moving forward. Posted by Motive Freak. Strongest bodybuilder gets destroyed in arm wrestle by 6'8" giant arm wrestler. So this guy took the footage off Arm Wrestling TV, chopped it up, put it on his own channel, and then somebody else posted it. So it's me, Arm Wrestling Larry Wheels. A lot of you guys have already seen that, so we won't get on that topic too much. Moving forward, posted by Luca9129. It says Freedom Arm Wrestling, Levon Saganashvili and Gennady Fikvinia. This is from a while ago, I believe, a year or two ago, and it's them at a gym, kind of basically, It's a spoof. Them pretending to do freedom arm wrestling. I think it was back in 2018. So when they were training together a lot. So it's funny to watch. Gennady is a monster. For those of you guys that don't know who he is, that's who Gennady is. Watch the video. I think Gennady is also responsible for training the Georgian national team. I think he's also like the captain, right? So check that out and start getting a feel for Gennady, because you're about to start seeing him a lot at on WAL. I have a feeling. Next one, posted by MAGA Arms. OGP right-handed super match, Darren Bills and Sage Barlow. I did not watch this. There's a couple videos I did not watch. It looks like a super match series. And I know Sage went to Worlds one time, so I will watch that. I have not watched it yet, so I'm not going to comment on it too much. You guys check out MAGA Arms too. He's putting out good videos, and he's definitely an entertaining dude for sure. Next one, posted by Min Hale. It says, can someone give me a brief history and explain the differences between the WAL, PAL, UAL, WAF, IFA, Zloty, and Arm Wars? He says, and forgot to include Vendetta. He says, as a newcomer to this sport, I'm kind of confused between all these leagues and organizations. Would appreciate a basic introduction to all the current competitions. Makes following the sport much easier. So for, I guess, the newer people, I could understand this being confusing. Immediately, Armory posted on here and summed it up really well. So I'm just going to read the way they broke it down. Arm Wars is a older super match series that was also a popular television show in the UK, ran by Neil Pickup, current announcer and podcast host for WAL. Arm Wars is not currently airing, or is not currently still going on, I don't believe. Then UAL is a league, came out of Southern California, that hosts tournaments around the U.S., founded in 2010 to make arm wrestling more mainstream and accessible in the country. That's by Bill Collins and Robert Drank originally. I think Robert's out of it, so it's all Bill Collins currently. That's like where right now you see the UAL when they have like the LA Fit Expo and Anaheim Fit Expo. Those are more UAL events. So the UAL is still going on. It's just really it's pretty West Coast right now. But Bill's definitely still running it. Love the UAL. Love anything Bill Collins is involved in for sure. Next one is WAL, World Arm Wrestling League. It used to host tournaments around the U.S., but in 2018 they switched to the current super match format you see today. WAL events, the tournaments, were insane. Like, really, honestly, when I think back on the WAL tournaments, it was so amazing. The national, or the big ones in Vegas and stuff like that, so intense, and they drew so many new people over there, and the spectators, and everybody's having a great time. I mean, the super match series are a ton of fun, and I'll be going to the one in LA. I always have a lot of fun at the super match series events. But yeah, I mean, I really miss their tournaments. That shit was crazy, especially at the first ones when the big money, and you just go into a room and you would see top level guys all competing. You know, Todd Hutchings would be having a war with, Eric Wolf over there, and then you go to the next room and you see Devin and Tom Nelson, and you go to the next room. Like, it was, I don't know, it was crazy. It was a crazy cool tournament. Then PAL, Professional Arm Wrestling League, run by Igor Mazurenko, is considered the premier league in Europe. They host the Zloty Tour tournament, Top 8, and Vendetta super match events. So yeah, PAL is like, big wig over there in across the pond. WAF, World Arm Wrestling Federation, says they're a non-profit who run the World Championship tournament. Typically, if someone says they're a world champion, they're referring to winning the WAF tournament, for which you have to qualify. It's comprised of all the national organizations from each country who vote on changes. Yeah, so WAF is always been the big one, and they've been flexing on everybody. So in turn, they created the IFA, International Federation of Arm Wrestling. They formed as a response to the alleged corruption in the WAF. WAF has banned athletes for competing elsewhere, and many don't think that's okay. IFA had their first tournament in 2019, and it's trying to take the place of WAF as the World Championship tournament. We're in the process of seeing countries choosing to either stick to the WAF or join the IFA. Notably, Canada just voted to join the IFA. Hope that helps. That was an awesome reply. Thanks for letting me read that and steal that, so I don't have to break it all down in my head. Yeah, so those guys are trying to figure out the differences. There you go. That's what you got. All right, moving forward. Let's see here. Posted by Burn Dog homemade table for $90. Table looks awesome. Picture of Burn Dog made his own table. I think yeah, so cheap for under $90 and solid, man. Looks solid. You don't need anything too crazy. Looks as good as you need, especially for under $90. Great table. All right, moving forward. Posted by Anna Close. Anaclo Osmos. It says, title says, Beginner Needs Help. So I've completed my final year of high school football, and a few months ago, and with it, I got out with a few injuries. I've always arm wrestled at school during small tournaments each year and won by brute force, but I got really invested in the sport and love it. I want to get stronger and better and already started training, but one of my football injuries, my right shoulder, is bugging me. During a match, I'm only good in the press and smash anyone, but now my shoulder is really hurting and I want to find a way to train without hurting my shoulder. Is there any way, or am I just doomed? The injury only hurts once I arm wrestle or train for it. Well, yeah, man, I commented on this, but like I told you, if you're doing a heavy shoulder-based style of arm wrestling, you say that you're pressing, right? I'm only good in the press and smash anyone. Well, that's a heavy shoulder-based style of arm wrestling, right? You're literally the one of the primary drivers through that whole motion is your shoulder, right? So there's other types of arm wrestling like top rolling and pulling backwards and things where you don't really start using a ton of shoulder and sideways until you've already dominated the match. But the way you're doing it is like all shoulder. So to have a shoulder injury and be arm wrestling all shoulder style is doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So I would say, man, give that shoulder a chance to heal up. Use it minimally. So focus on styles of arm wrestling that pull backwards instead of going sideways. Generally, side pressure is a mixture of your chest, which slides your elbow across the pad, and old school arm wrestling, which is your rotator cuff. So basically just slamming your hand straight sideways. I guess think old school arm wrestling. That's like mostly shoulder and rotator cuff. So avoid that as much as possible until you need to utilize it, right? So a lot of posting and pulling backwards. You can still hook, but I'm saying, yeah, if you have a problem with your shoulder, then stop doing shoulder style of arm wrestling. I know it's strongest and it's fastest, but you have an injury, man. You can't do that. So you got to find a different way, or just expect to have pain in your shoulders for a long time, in my opinion. All right, moving forward. Posted by Babylonian Sorcerer, what Levon Saganashvili eats. It's a picture of Levon eating all that McDonald's. He eats a lot. I mean, a little bit of props to Levon for what he eats, but he doesn't want none of this in a food eating contest. Levon's actually a lot heavier than me, though, but I would out-eat that fool any day of the week. But yeah, he's eating like 6 burgers and some fries. I don't know. All right, moving forward. Oh, it's another picture of Levon. Posted by the same guy. Says Levon Saganashvili prepares for Dave Chafee, and this picture of Levon eating sushi. Yeah, you guys, he's a super heavyweight. He's like number 1 in the world, so he's keeping his weight up. Yes, the dude eats. I mean, if you guys are shocked by the fact that Levon is going to eat a fair amount of food, then you're not too in tune with strength sports. All right, moving forward. Posted by, Zio. What exactly does side pressure train, and what are the associated injury risks? What exactly does side pressure train? You mean you train side pressure? What does side pressure train? Side pressure trains your ability to apply side pressure. I'm reading this incorrectly like I did earlier. But and what are the associated injury risks? Well, it's a really shoulder-based and chest-based style of applying pressure on a table. So a lot of times when people blow their pec, disconnect their pec muscle from their shoulder, it's when they're applying a lot of side pressure. Also, you can have all types of weird shoulder injuries with your rotator cuff and stuff like that. You can pull things and dislocate things with a lot of side pressure. So that's associated injuries. But yeah, I mean, as far as, just think, guys, like if we're doing right-handed arm wrestling, your elbow is on the right side of the pad while keeping your hand perfectly straight up. Then just slide your elbow to the left side of the pad. That's going to be the way you use your chest. And then the other way, for the other component of side pressure, is just using your rotator on your shoulder and rotating your arm down to the pad. So yeah, it's painful. It goes. I guess when you're doing side pressure, that goes to your elbow. Yeah, there you go. There's that injury risk as well. A lot of the pressure as you're doing this, you're using a big muscle group. When you're using your chest and your shoulder, big muscle groups, then you're putting a lot of pressure through your elbow. So a lot of people, especially when they have really side pressure heavy styles, tend to have, I don't know what everybody calls it, but it happens all the time to everybody. It's the 3 little pops or 2 or 3 little pops in your elbow, and and then all of a sudden you can't supinate or hook sideways for like 5 months. Yeah, that thing. I don't know what that's called. I don't even know what the injury is. If it's just like straining tendons or popping them or dislocating them or disconnecting them. Usually there's some light bruising on the inside of your elbow, but that happens to almost every arm wrestler I know that has a heavy sideways component in their game. So that happens as well. All right, moving forward. Posted by MAGA Arms, the super matches soon to come Florida Arm Wrestling. So it's a video of the Ryan Bowen super match and other matches at that practice. Right, so that looked like a huge practice. It was raining outside, which sucks. But actually, sometimes when it rains like that, it kind of forces everybody together and things get real intense. But yeah, so watch that video if you guys haven't seen that practice or the super matches within that practice. All right, guys, moving forward. Posted by Mr. Potato. Exercises for arm wrestling using regular gym equipment. Says, hi guys, I want to start getting into arm wrestling. I'm looking for exercises to get stronger for it, but most of the exercises I see require very specific equipment. Do you have any suggestions that only require regular gym equipment? Currently, I do pull-ups, dead hangs, wrist curls, bicep curls, farmer holds, and heavy grip work. Okay, so if you guys listen to this podcast, you pretty much already know the first thing I'm going to say is if you are new to the sport of arm wrestling, then it's all about getting table time, man. You got to, I want to start getting into arm wrestling. It's the first thing he says. Then you need to go arm wrestle. But just to to amuse you, I'll give I guess if you were living in Antarctica and you had nobody to arm wrestle with, but you had a gym, then yeah, I mean, it looks like your lineup's pretty good, man. You do pull-ups. That's going to be hitting a lot of your lats. Especially if you're doing neutral grip pull-ups, try to keep neutral grip. Things that always try to replicate arm wrestling angles, so you're able to apply that pressure a little more comfortably on the table. Pull-ups are awesome. I've talked about them before. The muscle coordination it helps apply. It keeps you comfortable having a lot of weight in your hands and controlling all the weight in your hand. So if you can lock your whole body and hold your whole body weight in your hand, then you have a lot more confidence in your moves, and you know how much power you can apply. Dead hangs, I guess that's good for your grip and for your fingers. Just don't get too comfortable with your wrist bent backwards unless you plan on arm wrestling like Travis Bagent or Jerry Caderet. Then wrist curls, awesome. Wrist curls, I like to break them up by, focusing on top 2 fingers, bottom 2 fingers when I do my wrist curls, but generally that's awesome, especially with regular gym equipment. That's fine. Use dumbbells or barbell wrist curls. Perfect. Bicep curls. There you go. Isolating your bicep. Make sure you also do hammer curls, not just regular bicep curls. Brachialis is a huge player in arm wrestling, and that'll also help you hit your brachioradialis and your radial deviation, your rising pressure. Farmer holds and heavy gripper work. Farmer holds again for hand strength, for holding strength, and heavy gripper work. When you're doing your grip work, our pressure generally comes from the tips of our fingers in arm wrestling. Right? We don't do a lot of crushing. There's not a lot of crushing strength going on in arm wrestling, right? So when I do my grip work, I do have heavy Captains of Crush and all that stuff, grippers, but generally I have some Walmart brand 50-pound grippers that I keep in my car that I put on my fingertips, the very edges of my fingers and in the palm of my hand. So I'm used to applying all the pressure. I know we shouldn't be holding on too much, but when we do, being able to apply pressure through the tips of your fingers compared to that first knuckle in after the tips of your fingers. Because you'll see a lot of people when they're trying to contain someone, and you'll see the tips of their fingers fold back, and all the pressure is coming from that first knuckle. But I don't know. I try to train opposite of that. So my right hand, all the pressure generally comes from my fingertips. I feel like they're the strongest point of my fingers, right? So yeah, doing your heavy grip work, watch that, make sure it correlates properly over to arm wrestling. So I don't see any pronation, right? So you can still hit pronation in a gym, especially if you have offset dumbbells, so you can have more weight on one side of the dumbbell than the other. You can work pronation that way by doing curls with the heavy side of the dumbbell on your thumb side of your hand. So it's making you have to pronate against it while you lift it. Or the ropes, you use on the pulley system they have to the gym, those ropes people use for tricep extensions. You can use those and pronate into those. That kind of hurts. But the best thing you can do, man, is to get an armor or a martial arts belt, or just take a towel. Towel's fantastic. And put the towel through the pulley system and pronate into the towel. Pronation is going to be a huge player in your potential arm wrestling career, so don't negate that. In general, forearm work, man. Keep that going. Keep a lot of forearm, wrist, and hand work in there, because that takes a long time to build. So get started right away, especially if you don't have anybody to arm wrestle with. But always, always, always will I advise finding an arm wrestling team. That will be the best thing you can do to get stronger at arm wrestling. Please go. There's armfighter.com. I have the link on the front of Reddit. Go there, find your closest team, and go practice. All right, moving forward. Posted by Light Mike 578. Says Carolina Carnage round robin in North Carolina, sponsored by Grip Genie, Sean Latimer, Scott Ballinger, Doug Allen, and others. This is a crazy round robin. I think Sean Latimer ended up getting first place. No. Doug Allen got first place. Yeah, sorry. Doug Allen got first place. Sean Latimer got second, I believe. I'm not sure who got third. Great. These guys are super high-level arm wrestlers. I've never gripped up with Doug Allen, but I have pulled a lot of the other guys. Just crazy powerful group of people for sure. Congratulations, Doug Allen, for winning that. Check out that video. Yeah, that's some high-level arm wrestling right there. Moving forward, posted by Cobb. Says 500 tourney in West Hollywood. There is a tournament coming up in West Hollywood on the 26th of this month. It's at a random bar. I can't think of the name off the top of my head. And it is... I can't remember the name of the bar. I was talking to the promoter. Basically, they're doing one weight class, and they're trying to get 32 people, one weight class, right hand only. I think they're best of 3 matches, and the winner gets $500. So you're going to see the top guys in the area over there fighting for that $500. That is too close to the Arnolds. I won't be competing. I might be there reffing it, though. I told them I would ref if they wanted me to, so might see me over there. But if you guys get a chance, check out this link. Also, they made a arm wrestling a Facebook group called LA Arm Wrestling Club, I think is the name of their Facebook group. So check them out, and they're promoting this tournament on there. Moving forward, posted by Sin Researcher, Arms and the Man, a 1993 Sports Illustrated article by Tom Junod of Mr. Rogers fame. It's a Sports Illustrated, basically like story, and it goes over the old school look at arm wrestling. When you read it, you get a lot of like, I don't know, it's the old outlook on arm wrestling, and they don't mention anything that's like, not a lot of things that are real in the sport, right? But so it's just like an outside look, like the way people wanted to view over the top, right? So it's not like what actual competitive arm wrestling. But check it out, it's a long story. I started reading it, and then I realized what it was, and I stopped reading it. All right, this one's posted by Julian47. Julian K47. Are injuries inevitable? Been arm wrestling on and off for a couple years, and recently have gotten more into it. It seems as if all around me people are saying, oh, I can only go left or right because I'm injured my other hand, elbow, shoulder, and have had some injuries as well, with my wrist popping out of place and having to go see chiropractors each time, but nothing major. Seems to me like more than in any other sports, it's extremely hard to compete and even just train without eventually messing up your arms. Any sport you train in at a high level, if you're serious about training any sport, strongman, powerlifting, whatever you want to do, but even basketball and stuff like that, you're gonna have injuries, man. Like if you're not coming across some kind of injury, then I'm not saying you're not training hard enough, but that's a tail sign that you're not pushing yourself super hard, right? Injuries happen, and hopefully they don't, man. And hopefully you never get injured and you keep getting stronger somehow, and you're just a genetic freak. And besides the ones you've gotten, but yeah, it's kind of the name of the game, right? Hopefully nothing really bad happens, but everybody tweaks and pops and cracks. So like right now, I haven't been pulling left-handed for the last month or so, and I'm barely doing any work with it in the gym because I somehow strained my brachioradialis, brachialis, and like my my rear, or like my delts, I guess. So it's like everything was just pulled all at once. So I'm just staying off it for a while on the advice of the doctor. So, but it'll be back. It'll be back in, a couple weeks. I'll be fine to train it again. So it's just healing up as much as you can, avoid major injuries, avoid all injuries, of course. But, yeah, it's kind of inevitable. I mean, if we're being real with each other, arm wrestling, I don't know anybody that's been arm wrestling at a serious level for years that has not had some sort of injury. Pulled something, tweaked something, strained something. But hopefully it's nothing huge. Like, I've never broken a bone or detached a tendon or a bicep or anything like that. Knock on wood, but yeah, I mean, they kind of are inevitable at some level, man. All right, moving forward, posted by Rodental. Ryan Bowen gets worked by a bunch of Arizona no-names. Holy shit. I didn't see that title. It's Ryan titled the video, Ryan Bowen versus Arizona Arm Wrestling. It's a long video. It's a great practice I think it's at John Brzezink's house. They're in the back. Eric Wolf is in there. Ovi Dragomir. All the Arizona guys are there. Oh no, not all of them. A lot of them. I didn't see my boy Miguel show up. I didn't see Wayne Arsenault. But I think I watched the whole video too. It's pretty long, but I think I watched the whole thing. But I don't know about Ryan getting worked by a bunch of Arizona no-names. Eric Wolf and Ryan were having great matches. We have to understand Ryan also has been arm wrestling a lot. He's been arm wrestling with John Brzezinski like almost every day, I think. He had the big Florida practice. So, I mean, this isn't top form, Ryan. And I'm not saying he would beat all of them. I'm just saying, like, we can't really read into this too much. But Eric Wolf was getting him a little bit here and there. Ryan was getting most people. Then I think, like, even Ovi started pinning him near the end. But it's practice, guys. That shit happens. There's definitely videos of everybody out there getting beat. I can show you guys videos of me trucking John Brzezinski. Yeah, at practice. Don't mean nothing. So yeah, it's just a practice video. If you guys get a chance, check it out. Check out Ryan's video of him practicing with the Arizona guys. And there are some very strong people out in Arizona. Shout out to all those guys. You guys know you're all my boys. All right, moving forward. Posted by Combined Training, looking for methods of treating elbow pain, especially right before a squat/bench workout. So far for elbow pain, I've heard it's good to apply ice and cooling gels. Do a lot of light reps the day after to get blood in. Rest the elbow otherwise. Avoid training side pressure for a while and take some anti-inflammatories. I'm doing these as best I can, but open to more. What I'm especially after, though, is specifically how you might integrate these methods with a powerlifting workout. I've just had my first squat session with elbow pain, and holy F, I don't think I've cursed this whole podcast. Yes. Holy F, was that awful. I stopped early because I didn't want to aggravate it further, but this affects my bench, pull-ups, etc. too, right? So how do you get your elbows ready for a workout? Which of the above methods would you use, and is there anything else I can do? Does it say in here how new you are? I don't see. I'm assuming if you're still dealing with this and trying to figure this out and how to deal with elbow pain, you're fairly new. So everything, the things that you have listed there are great ways to work on your inflammation, your elbow pain. Assuming that's your general ulnar nerve being inflamed, like we all have. Yeah, man. Especially if you're newer, it takes a while for that to calm down, all that inflammation. But if you're trying to get it better for squats, a lot of people do front squats. Squat with a safety bar. Those are the best things. One of those two things where your arm's in front of you and you don't have it folded behind you because it's hard to hold on to. And then as far as bench press, man, you know what? I have a freak on my team. I have like one guy on my team who says he bench presses and he's new. He's relatively new and he benches a lot. He benches like 450 pounds. And he said when I start benching and my elbows start quivering from all this arm wrestling pain, I just go harder and I start benching a lot more. But besides that one genetic freak, man, heavy benching is not something you find a lot of arm wrestlers doing. If you're actively training for arm wrestling, like you're really putting in a lot of work, heavy bench is not going to be your friend for a while, man. It just won't be. Not until you have your arms dialed in, the nerve inflammation is calmed all the way down, and then you slowly work it back into your program. That's like why I told Larry Wheels, I said, man, you can get to a high level. You have a lot of genetic advantages and naturally, obviously, a ton of strength and potential. But at some point, Larry would have to give up everything to make it to a seriously high level in arm wrestling. If he wants to really start cracking into like some top level in arm wrestling, you must give up. I mean, at a real serious level, you're gonna have to give up the other stuff, give up the powerlifting and the strongman and stuff like that, because you just won't be able to train full out for those and arm wrestle at a very high level. It just does not go hand in hand at first. Years in, you could start getting real heavy again, I think, with it. But I've never heard a situation where someone is trying to focus really heavy on powerlifting motions or strongman motions and fully training for arm wrestling as a dedicated arm wrestler. They just don't work really well together. So take it for what it is, man. I would just if you're trying to work on, I don't know how dead set you are on benching, but flies, dumbbell flies, things like that are a little lighter on the elbows. But heavy bench, I've never heard of anybody loving heavy bench after arm wrestling besides that one weirdo on my team. All right, hope that helped. Sorry. Moving forward, posted by Ashok 15 Ash. It says top 8 transition fight, Kurdecha and Krasimir and Dave versus Rimkus. And also the next video is same thing, Dave steamrolls Rimkus. Okay, so Kurdecha and Krasimir. Kurdecha was controlling the match, and a spoiler. Sorry, spoiler. If you guys haven't watched it, I'm sorry. I don't. Hopefully you guys are all caught up. I'm assuming everybody's caught up on the arm wrestling world. They had those transition matches, and Kurdecha and Krasimir arm wrestled to get into top 8. And Kurdecha was controlling Krasimir's wrist, and I think the first 3 matches, Kurdecha was like doing fantastic, and then I think he fouled out 4 matches in a row. Was it? Did he foul out for all 4 matches? Anyway, it was his to lose. He was dominating the Sue match, and then the fouls just started coming in, and he couldn't finish the match without fouling. Alex couldn't, and so Krasimir ended up winning. Crazy. It went to, I think, the 7th round, like a tiebreaker round or something like that. But yeah, so that was wild. I mean, it's awesome for Alex to even be taking Krasimir, who's a legend in the sport, to that level and to that point, and arguably even stronger than Krasimir. So, that's awesome. Alex has a bright future. Hopefully WAL snatches him up and brings him over here, because the dude's explosive and screams, and he's exciting for TV. And yeah, so that was a great match. A lot of people were talking about that match. And then Dave and Rimkus went 5-1. Dave winning pretty much the way everybody thought Dave would win. And yeah, kind of controlled Rimkus. And at the end, Rimkus was able to get into Dave's hand and apply some pressure. But it kind of reminded me in some sense of the Dave and Gennady match. Like Dave's at the end of the Sue match, his wrist started getting a little suspect. Yeah, but when your wrist starts barely going back on round 5 and 6, like it's a little too late, man. So I don't know. I don't even know, thinking about it, I don't even know the key to beating Dave. Like, I've been thinking about it, like if there was a weakness, right? And like, what, you gonna go in there? You're gonna hook with him? I mean, he popped Todd Hutchings' bicep. He pulled through Denis Saplenkov, essentially. Like, okay, so you can't hook him. And everybody defaults to trying to blast his wrist back. And the only people I've seen successfully blast Dave's wrist back is like King's move, right? So as far as, I don't know the word, regular top rollers, who does? Who can take Dave's hand? Honestly, so that's I'm excited to see Dave and Levon, but I really want to see Dave and Vitali. I'm kind of wondering how that goes. I haven't seen anybody crack Dave's wrist back at the beginning of a match. And if there is anybody that could do it, I think it'd be Vitali, I think. So, but yeah, those are good matches. I'm happy to see Dave in the top 8 and Krasimir. All right, moving forward, posted by NNQ2603. It's a video by 217 Cinema. It's Todd Hutchings, Chris Chandler, and Pavlo. It's arm wrestling practice, a giant arm wrestling practice. It's a 26-minute long video. I just watched 17 minutes of it right before I started the podcast, but I had to get this podcast going. But anything that comes from 217 is amazing quality. Love watching all this stuff. Got me hooked in there. It's just a practice video, and I was watching like all of it, super into it. I literally only stopped for the podcast. So you guys check that out. Super high quality, great videos. I love watching 217 videos. Hopefully, I wish he came out with more of them. And it's cool. You got Todd Hutchings in there, and you got Chris Chandler. You got some well-known faces that you'll see in there putting in work at that practice. But yeah. He goes, I can't recommend enough, highly enough 217 film, the films, is it? Cinema? Check out his channel for sure. Moving forward, all right, talking about Krasmir, I just talked about that. Stage 1 is Levon and Chafee, they announced. So we're going to see that right off the bat. What everybody wants to see, which, I don't know. Yeah, kind of mixed feelings about that. I want to see that match, but what's going to happen in the finals now? Who's in the finals? Because now it's not going to be Dave and Levon. So, I don't know. Mixed feelings about that. I think, I don't know. I got to give it to Dave, man. I know he's not he's the underdog in this match in general. I get that. But I can't envision Dave losing this. I don't know. Maybe Levon busts his hand back. I'm not sure. But it's weird to even like try to envision Dave getting his arm pulled over like that. I mean, besides Denis Saplenkov after a war, and Dennis, who knows if Levon's stronger than Dennis? No one knows for sure. Peak Dennis. But also, I don't know if Dave's a peak Dave right now. I don't know where his levels are at. But I'm gonna go with Chafee. A gambling man should probably put money on Levon, but I'm picking Dave in this. That's my boy, you know. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Chafee over Levon. But we'll see, man. We'll see. Next one is how to get good at arm wrestling when there's no way to pull with others. I want to arm wrestle, but there's no one around me to do it. No clubs within 40 miles of where I live. And I have no friends that are into gym and stuff. What can I do to get better, even if I can't train with other people? Okay, so I commented on this. I don't want to be too rough. Oh, it's posted by Babylonian Sorcerer. 40 miles, man. I got people on my team, a few people on my team that will drive like 2.5 hours to practice every week. And not saying you have to do that, but it's like 40 miles is not much, man. That's like 35-minute drive. That's nothing. If you're not willing to drive 35 minutes, then you focusing on how to get strong in a gym for arm wrestling when you're not willing to drive 35 minutes to train with people, that's your biggest problem, man. Like, what if you don't have the passion for the sport yet to drive 35 minutes to get table time, which is the most important thing for arm wrestling, then how are you going to find the motivation to lift weights at a serious level? How are you going to find the motivation to come back if you get injured or if you lose some tournaments? Like if you don't have that kind of passion to even drive 35 minutes to train, then like I don't know, I feel like it's almost redundant to give someone a bunch of advice on how to lift weights for arm wrestling if they won't even drive 35 minutes to go pull with people and learn how to arm wrestle. I know that was rough. I'm not usually rough on people like that. I just, this sport is a passion sport. If you're getting an arm wrestling to get a lot of money and get super famous, that's weird, right? Because we're not there yet. But so everybody gets hooked into arm wrestling. So it's weird, and I know it's weird for a lot of arm wrestlers that even heard me say this. Like it's weird for us to see someone kind of dabble in arm wrestling. Usually people are all in or all out. If you're gonna get in arm wrestling, you have to damn it. You have to have your arms. Your arms are gonna be hurting for a year. You're gonna have to change your body bone layout. Thing. What I'm saying? It sucks, and you're missing time. Family time and stuff. It takes a lot of us. We're all super passionate and devoted to this sport, and so when someone says they won't drive 35 minutes, I know it bothers me and other people. You gotta go fall in love with the sport, man. I would say focus on arm wrestling. Go to the practice. Make some new friends. Fall in love with the sport and really focus on finding your passion for it, man. I mean, that's my advice, honestly. You probably won't listen to it, but yeah. Besides that, man, do some hammer curls and some wrist curls. Sorry, guys. I'm not going to get on that too much, This is a passion sport for a lot of us. Next move forward, posted by Ryan Bowen, killer session with Arizona Pullers. This is the same video. Ryan Bowen arm wrestling with the Arizona guys. Moving forward past that, it's posted by Armory. It says, got some pulling in with Jerry Caderet. Fun fact, if you close your eyes, you can pretend he's a house. That's crazy, right? And so I've practiced with Jerry one time, years and years ago. I was much weaker, probably doesn't even remember me. He came out here for a UAL thing. And, I was amazed because everybody thinks Jerry, because he flop wrist presses, that, that's all he has. It's not all he has at all, right? And even the crazier part is, when you think about everybody, it's been around for a while, thinks about when Zoloev hooked Jerry and beat Jerry in a hook. I don't know, man. There's angles, there's there's moves, there's counters and stuff like that, and there's different styles. If I think, if people have their main move, I think what it boils down to, Jerry doesn't need to use his main move on most of us, on almost all of us, right? But if and when he comes across somebody that has serious posting and pronation, like that can take his hand, then he's comfortable in a flop press. But it's crazy, man. Arm wrestling those guys. I know I don't think none of us could get Jerry to flop press back then when he came out here either. And we were trying to make him go to his move, but we couldn't. No one had enough for him. But yeah, it's wild to think that like on his, not even his main move, his like, who knows what move that is. That his D move, his C move, who knows? But if you can't, there's levels to this stuff, man. That's one thing I know. This is something I came up with a long time ago, guys. It's hard to judge how strong somebody is because a wall is a wall is a wall. I've had that saying forever in arm wrestling. When you grip up with somebody, your first practice, you grip up with a guy who's been arm wrestling 2 years. He's going to feel, even if it's at the same weight as you, he's going to feel like a wall. So you won't be able to tell the difference between you pulling a 2-year middleweight or me or Jerry or Levon. Really, unless they're, you won't be able to tell the difference. A wall is a wall. It just doesn't move. And then as time goes on, you start breaking those walls down. You start feeling like the give and how those walls can start moving a little bit. And then you find a way to go through them, right? So it's like, it's crazy because you can't even know how strong somebody is. That's why when people ask me at work and stuff, they're like, hey, we arm wrestle. I want to see how strong you are. And I go, like, I'm joking with them, but at the same time, to them, it will just be a brick wall. I say, hey, grab that. You see that package, that truck right there? Go lean up against that truck. And that's what it's gonna feel like when you arm wrestle me. I mean, really, to a random dude, right? Because it just don't move. So I don't know, man. A wall is a wall is a wall. So most people can't even see how strong Jerry Cadrat is because they're not strong enough to really test Jerry and really get in there and find some give in some of his muscles. I mean, and I'm not even saying that I am. But yeah, so dude's a beast. Okay, moving forward, posted by I'm from Kazakhstan. Says Kazakh domination, 7 gold, 4 left and 3 right. Okay, so this is the team classification. So they break down the teams. When you go to World Arm Wrestling Federation, WAF, they have team events. So they rank the countries by who got the most first places and stuff like that. And Kazakhstan got first, beating out Russia and then Georgia. United States got 7th, usually due to our masters, right? Our masters do really well and win a lot. So, so it went Kazakhstan, Russia, Georgia, Bulgaria, Turkey, Armenia, then United States. We beat Ukraine. Hey, that's a big win. Ukraine's beasts. Or, wait, did the Ukraine already... I know they split. They have 2 federations. One federation goes IFA now, and one goes to Worlds. So I don't know which one was at WAF. I'm not sure. Anyway. All right, moving forward. Posted by Evil Cheddar. Can Dave take a round off Levon? It says, I think the chance of Dave beating Levon is very slim. I think there is a decent chance Dave can win at least 1 round against him. I mean, that's pretty much the race, I think. Who can be first to win a round against this arm wrestling behemoth? Well, I'll give you guys my take on the Dave and Levon match. I don't know. Yeah, yes, I definitely think Dave can take a round off Levon for sure. I definitely don't think this super match is going to be a match of endurance. There's going to be some crazy horsepower up there. Hopefully nobody gets hurt. That's how much horsepower is going on because they're going to go into each other's power. Not that Vitali wasn't going into the power, but it's like, man, these guys, there's going to be a lot of power. I have a feeling they can both pull kind of inside. Hopefully Levon, we get to see them hooked together a little bit. But I have a feeling Levon's going to try to roll out Dave the whole time, because I don't think he wants any of that inside problem from Dave. Moving forward, next posted by Luca9129 says Levon Saganashvili on Instagram, 120 kg curls. What's 120 kg? Like 260 or something like that. So it's seated curls. It's a video of Levon doing seated curls. So he's sitting down. He has an easy curl bar in his hands. And he curls from his knees up to his chest, 120 kg. Dude's a monster, right? That's heavy. Seated curls suck, man. I don't know if you guys have done those. They're great, and I think they work a great angle. but it puts a lot of pressure on your back. Like I had to wear my belt and everything when I was doing heavy seated curls. I don't know, maybe I'm just built weird, but I was getting a lot of pressure on my like tailbone and stuff like that, holding that much weight and straining while being seated. It was kind of a weird sensation, but I think if I did it enough, then I'd get used to it. Moving forward, next one is posted by ThomJohn12 or Uncle John. It says, who will pull at WAL 601? I did watch this video, John, and I commented on it. So John predicts via, he's been stalking everybody on all the websites and, on Reddit, Facebook, everything. And he comes up with his best guesses of what the matches are. I have some insight, some behind-the-scenes knowledge, I think, of some of the matches. It's not on me to disclose. But I think you have some good guesses in there. For sure. I'll leave it at that, John. All right, moving forward. Posted by Julian K47. Chafee versus Levon. What do you guys think? Could Chafee pull it off? Once again, if you guys scroll down, everybody's already talking about that. We don't need to keep making new posts about the same thing. Moving forward. Posted by SpeedCuber98. It's Devin's video with John Milne talking about the top 8 and talking about how them doing this random drawing thing is going to ruin the bracketing of the tournament. We're going to see Levon and Dave right away, so now neither one of them are in the finals. Whoever loses, the best they can do is 5th place. I don't know, they just have it all matched up weird, is basically what they're saying, which kind of sucks because we're going to get like some of the top matches at the very beginning, and then the end might be kind of boring. So that's basically what Devin's talking about. Devin, you need to start doing your hair when you wake up. John, you're perfect as is. Moving forward, posted by SpeedCuber again. It says, why does this exist? LMAO. And it's in one of the old videos from the Ottawa High Hookers. They have a lot of spoof videos. If you guys have time, go back and watch all those old videos of Devin and all them just messing around. These guys are hilarious. And the very last thing, moving forward, posted by Drugless Wills, says, bring back Game of Arms. That's it. I love the show and still watch it every now and then. There should be a new season. I agree, man. I think we all agree Game of Arms was fantastic for the sport. It was exciting. It was fun to watch. It was discontinued by AMC because they got rid of all of their reality TV shows, supposedly. They got rid of Duck Dynasty as well. And there was another one. I can't remember which one. Was it Hoarders? No. Anyway, they got rid of all the reality shows at once, including Game of Arms. And because I think they were getting like... AMC was always, them playing those old movies all the time, and all of a sudden they had weird reality shows, so I don't think they liked the way the channel was headed, so they changed it. Sad, but they did film a season 2, or the beginning of a season 2, and there's somewhere floating around out there, there's the promo video for season 2, which looked awesome, but we'll never got to see it, the whole thing come to fruition. There's actually some interviews and stuff like that with Tom Nelson and Devin where they're talking about what actually went down in that season 2, a little bit with some spoilers, and apparently it was pretty fun. Devin was somehow on the California team with Tom Nelson, which is really weird because Devin lives in Eastern Canada and not West Coast United States. But yeah. All right, guys, that's it. Sorry I went over an hour. I was trying. I said there was a lot of shit to get into. I'm trying to not curse, and I keep cursing in this thing. Thanks for listening, you guys. Go out there and train really hard. Big things are coming. Arnold's are coming up. Big events are coming. Top 8's being announced. Bottom 8's being announced. Everything's 601 is coming out pretty soon. I'm really excited to see all this stuff. And you guys go out there, be bold as shit. Apply yourselves. Train hard. And love arm wrestling. See ya.